Steven, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, how was it?
My gosh, man. Like, first question was right off the bat, deep. It brought me instantly into where I'm supposed to be right now. And I've had a lot of interviews. This is hands down one of my favorite. I would say one of my top 2 interviews. I don't want to say the top one, so I don't offend anyone. But this one, like, I really love this interview. I loved how, I love the questions. I like how deep you got. I love how you dove in. There was like obvious preparation, and just your energy is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Steven. Have a great watching.
Hey girls, up your feet on mine. I don't really think I can play that part. I'm going through it, something about this life of mine.
I like this cup. I don't know why.
Steven.
Yes.
Welcome to Montreal podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting, honestly.
How's it going?
I'm doing really good. It's Saturday. I had a pretty busy start to the day, but This is cool and chill now. So thank you.
Busy is good.
Busy is good, but sometimes you need a break. So, but busy is good. I'm not complaining.
Steven, what's the dominant feeling of you these days?
Oh, that's a good question. Starting off with the hard-hitting question. What's the dominant feeling for me? I was in a very creative space at the beginning of this year, from January to about June, released a lot of new music because of that. And now I'm in the post-release music phase, trying to figure out what I want to do next or what the next steps are. So it's kind of like a moment of being retrospective, kind of looking back and deciding now, now what's the next step? That's kind of my mood right now.
So you are a singer,
yes,
songwriter, producer, actor, filmmaker. All of these, no?
Yeah, I kind of do all of those things. I'm also, I studied electrical engineering in school, so also, science and math nerd and geek. Yeah. So
do you feel like each of these roles expresses a different side of you, or they are all part of the same voice?
It's a mix of both. Because they do express different versions of myself, but at the same time, I'm still just me. Okay. So the way I kind of always look at myself, and it sounds very weird, is to kind of look at myself as like this being, and then everything else, it just kind of trickles under. And every different aspect of my life plays a different role, but they all feed back into what makes me feel like a human being. I don't think I'd feel as fulfilled if I neglected any version of myself. Being able to do all the things to different capacities is what makes me feel alive. Okay.
And what's the moment you feel like you are the happiest man on earth?
It's a good question. Again, a good question. I think there's 2 moments. I'm going to start by shouting out my queen, Oro Marzo. Being with her makes me feel like a better version of myself. Yeah. But also when I'm creating, when I'm making music specifically, I think music is, I don't think I know it. Music is the most important part of myself. Okay. And when I'm creating, I just feel like I'm tapping into something much deeper, something connected to the universe. Because I'm an introvert. Okay. I tend to kind of stick to myself and stay in my head. But when I'm creating, that's my way of connecting with the rest of the world. So when I'm creating, I feel like I'm just letting go of all of the maybe like internal shackles and mental blocks and just exposing myself to the world.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So Michael Jackson clearly left a mark on your music.
Yeah. Well, see, when I was growing up, my mom was she was a massive Michael Jackson fan. She had all his albums up until that point. And as a kid, I loved how much she loved Michael Jackson. So because of that, I got curious about who is Michael Jackson? Because I would hear it every single day on the drives to school, back from school. And I dove more and I started to watch his performances. It was the way he was able to connect with the crowd. Not just connect, but make them feel something. Because I would watch people literally faint at his concerts by just the sheer amount of emotion he was putting out. And I wanted to be able to do that. I wanted to be able to be someone that had a presence that was able to share something with the world that made such a huge difference that they felt impacted. So it was really just Michael's way of just connecting to the universe that made me want to connect to the universe in the same way.
Okay. How pain is necessary to make great music?
I think pain is a part of life.
Okay.
And I think great artists are the ones that tap into all parts of themselves.
Okay.
And listen, if someone didn't experience pain in their life, which is impossible, but if someone hadn't experienced any pain in their life, but they're still just tapping into what makes them who they are, then I feel that they're fulfilling what it means to be an artist. I don't feel like you need to be showing pain or experiencing pain to be a great artist, but I feel like if you're a great artist, you tap into all the things that you've experienced and that make you who you are, because then you're really giving people, you're putting yourself out on the page. So I don't think pain is necessary to become a great artist, because for me, pain is just another part of life. So really it's more like, if you're a great artist, you tap into everything, and that includes pain.
Okay.
I
love your answer.
That was a good answer.
Yeah, I love your answer.
Put that on a t-shirt.
That was a good answer. Do you make music for yourself or for the audience?
Myself. I make music. When I'm making music, funny enough, actually, I'll tell a story. So at the end of 2023 was a big year. I had released one of my albums that I had released after a little gap. And one of the songs in the album was Scream. It was like a song called Scream, and it was really well received. The album was really well received. And so 2024 came around, and I had this pressure in my head to make a song just as good as Scream. And it was the first time that I started thinking like that. I was like, oh, I gotta make a song like that song. And nothing that I tried connected with me. I was like a month from January till about February, I just kept trying to create something and nothing came out. And the moment I said, you know what? This is not what I want to do. I want to make something that just feels honest and real. So I'm just going to step back. The second I did that, the new song came out of me. A song called Radio Vibes, and it instantly came out. It was like the second I stopped thinking about trying to make something to make everyone else happy, and I just said, let me just create from a real place, that's when the music connected with me again. So for me, it's all about creating to be honest about myself, and I feel if you're honest with yourself, people will connect with it one way or another.
Yeah, is there a story behind your music?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of obviously Michael Jackson, also very different, but Eminem, two different artists. Yeah. But I love the way that they told their stories through their music. Like with Eminem, you could always tell what phase in his life he was in. If you just listen to his albums, you go like, oh, that's when he was going through this, or that's when he was going through that, because he was just honest in his, it's like he was taking photos of his life and putting them in his music. And so for me, that's what music has become. It's my way of telling my story in the moment that I'm telling it, so that every single album, every single song is like a photograph of a moment in time.
What's the message you convey behind your music?
For me, you know, there's a book I read in high school, and I forget, is it Charles Dickinson's The Great Expectations, maybe?
Yeah.
That's it. And the teacher was asking people what the theme of the book was, and everyone was coming up with different answers. And then he came to me, or she came to me and asked me the question. I just said, like, it's about life.
Okay.
Like, it's about the ups and downs of life. Like, the theme for me was life. Like, that's what life is. Like, you go through grief, you go through beautiful moments, and so for me, that's what my theme is in my music. It's life. It's my life, and I'm sharing my story. And hopefully people listen to what I'm saying and they can find themselves in it. Not necessarily to take what I'm giving and run with it, but to to take a piece of it and then find a way to incorporate it into themselves. That's what my music is about. It's about self-reflection and that's it.
Yeah. How was your childhood?
It was an interesting childhood. In many ways, I was lucky. I was blessed. But you know, growing up, my parents weren't they weren't always happy together.
Okay.
And my mom went through an alcohol. Well, she became an alcoholic over time.
Okay.
And that eventually is what indirectly led to her passing away. So there were a lot of hard moments growing up, and I had to grow up really quickly. And I'm not saying this to, I'm not trying to say my parents didn't do a good job. I'm just saying that they did the best they could with what they had and what they were dealing with. And so there was a lot of having to grow up a lot faster. So I think because of that, for me, music became a way for me to channel everything that I had to deal with and find a way to express it. I think for me, art is that in general. So I keep saying great artists are the ones that just channel everything that they've been through and they put on a page or a canvas or in a song. So yeah, it was a good childhood, but it was also bad moments, but that's just life, I guess.
Yeah. If your childhood was a song, what would it be?
I already have that song.
Okay.
It's a song called "You Took Care of Me," and it's a song that I made about my siblings, about how when life was really hard and there were difficult moments, the people that I always knew I could turn to and that we always had each other's backs were my siblings. So the song is called "You Took Care of Me," and it's about really just that. It's about how we had each other's backs.
Wow.
This is a great interview, by the way.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
when was the moment you felt, yes, I am an artist?
I think there were different moments depending on the version of myself that there was. When I was younger and I just got into music, I wanted to just make music because I could sing and it was cool,
Okay.
And so in that moment, the first song I recorded, I was like in the studio for the first time. In my head, I was like, I'm an artist now. Like, look at me. But honestly, it's when my mom passed away and I fell into a really dark place. And I was so lost in it that the only way I could claw myself out of it was by taking everything I was feeling and putting it to music. It's that moment that I started to realize what it was to really be an artist, like to take what you feel and turn it into something. But it's when I started to share that on social media, I would share it and people started writing me, say things like how they were going through something similar and how my music helped them. I think that's when I really became an artist because I suddenly realized the impact music and art can have on people and what role I played in the flow of life and time.
Let's imagine that you are looking at yourself in the mirror. What's piece of advice, you will say to yourself?
Piece of advice, I think I first would start by saying that it gets better. I'll say that to myself, is like, life will be hard, but you'll always find a way to push through. That's the first thing I'd say. But I think it really is always gonna be, and I think I've said this before, it's learn to get out of your own way. Because a lot of the time, the person blocking you from achieving whatever you're trying to achieve is yourself. It's self-doubt, it's fear. It's just learning how to get out of your own head and just sometimes just take a chance. I think that's the advice I'd give myself.
I want to ask you a question about loneliness.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think loneliness is strength or weakness?
That's a good question again. I think when you're alone, it depends on it depends on what you do with that loneliness. If you just sit there and try to avoid everything that is happening in your brain, then you're not taking advantage of what it's trying to tell you. For me, there's a lot being said in the silence. That's why a lot of the time I feel very uncomfortable when things get too quiet, because that's when my brain goes like, let's think about everything. Yeah. But it's the moment I start to listen to the uncomfortable silence, that's when I learn the most about myself. So loneliness for me is not a good or a bad thing. It is what it is, but it's what you do with it that makes all the difference.
Yeah. What's something you lost and truly regret losing?
Something I lost and truly regret losing. I think everyone has the same answer. Maybe we don't always think about it, but like I think as a kid we have this sense of innocence.
Okay.
And that sense of innocence is what makes us like, as a kid you see kids playing and they're like coming up with all these random ideas and they're pretending that like they're a superhero or this and that, and then you become an adult and responsibilities hit you and all these things hit you and life hits you and all that innocence goes away and we forget to play. Like as adults we just forget to play because we think like, oh, that's childish stuff. But like there's something about like childish wonder where you get to just like think and just imagine everything in the universe and see. I think that's where magic really happens. And I think that's why as artists, like we feel so happy when we're creating because we're kind of recapturing our innocence, because being able to think like that and create something out of thin air, that's what kids do all the time.
Okay.
So I think the thing that I feel like every person regrets losing is their innocence.
Has anyone ever passed away that would to sing to him or to her right now? What would you sing and why?
Again, I really have that song.
Okay.
My mom, like I told you, she said she passed away, and I wrote a song called Happy Birthday. And the song really is about, with all the amazing things happening in my life and my career right now, the one thing that would make me happy is being able to hear my mom sing me Happy Birthday again. That's the song I would sing to my mom, about how I'd want her to sing me Happy Birthday. Yeah.
When did you last cry?
Oh man, I cry randomly about like just random things. Funny, I think because I don't know, listen, people say the word empath and this and that all the time. I don't know if I don't know. I just know who I am. And if I see someone suffering, it makes me cry. Okay. Like, and it was a few days ago, I saw someone, they were asking for money and they just seemed genuinely just sad about like where they are in life. And it just hurt me because it was in the metro and everyone was just pretending like, they're like, when they just look away because they don't want to deal with it. And just seeing the rejection in his face, like he felt like so small, that made me like tear up, because it just felt like how we've forgotten to have empathy as people. Like we forget that life can change in an instant. You can have everything right now, you can lose it all. But I think sometimes we forget that. And so we look at people who are experiencing poverty and we go like, they're just not trying. It's like, no. Sometimes life just knocks you down and there's nothing you can do. And all it takes sometimes is just someone to show that they care to make all the difference. So that made me cry. It made me cry mostly because it made me feel pain for how humans can be cruel.
What would you say to someone who's always waiting for the perfect moment to act?
There is no such thing as the perfect moment. Like, I've learned this with music, because I'm a perfectionist and I have OCD. Like, it's been diagnosed. I have OCD, and so I'm the kind of person where like I will not release a song until it gets to a place in my mind where it's like exactly where it needs to be. But over time, I've learned that, because sometimes I'll listen to my older songs and I'd be like, oh man, I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. But the point is, the reason why I'm able to do that is because I've grown as an artist. And yeah, now if I go back to my older songs, I probably would have changed this and changed that. But that's the point. That's the whole point of experience. And you don't get to that point in your life where you can start saying like, oh, I would have done that differently if you didn't put things out already. Like if you didn't take the steps, you can't get closer to perfection if you keep holding on to things, hoping that they'll get to perfection. Perfection doesn't exist, but getting close to it only happens by accepting that eventually you just have to let go and move on, because the thing that you want to perfect, you're going to get to it eventually. The thing you currently have might not be perfect, but know that it's already good enough because you've put enough of yourself into it. That's what I would say.
You are a life coach, man. You're a life coach. Yeah. Okay. What's one truth about life you wish everyone knew?
What's one truth about life I wish everyone knew? I think for me, it's a lot of the times everything that you're afraid of is in your head. Like fear, the things that we go like, oh, I don't know if I can do this thing. I don't know if I can do that thing. Most of the time, that block that you're afraid to jump over, like 90% of it is made up in your head. And you don't realize how easy it can be for you to do something until you do it. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy per se, but the second you step up to the plate and you say, I'm ready, you've done 90% of the challenge that there is to take. It's like when someone wants to learn how to do pull-ups. Okay. And they start, the first time they do it, they barely do one. And they go like, oh, that's all I can do. But then they come back the next day and they can do two. And they come back the next day, they can do three. Well, it's because they're showing up. And every time they show up, they get a little stronger. So that fear that you have that you'll never do something is what's blocking you from actually doing it.
Okay. What scares you more, failure or being forgotten?
Where do you get these really good questions? What scares me more, failure? Failure doesn't scare me because failure is necessary to like achieving what you're trying to do. Like you can't be successful at something until you failed a few times. Like I don't know how many songs I've written where I'm like, this isn't the one. But because I started working on those songs, it brought me to the idea that led to that really big song. Okay. And it's because I had a few failures along the way. But for me, they're just part of the process. So I'm not afraid to fail because I know that if I fail at something, I still have the opportunity to get better at it. Like right now, I keep going back to like gym references. I'm trying to learn how to do a muscle up, like at the gym where you pull yourself up above the bar. I can't do it right now. I keep trying, I keep failing at it. But like every time I get back and try it, I get a little closer. So those failures are inching me towards eventually being successful at doing the thing. So I take those failures as pats on the back of like, you showed up, you did a thing, you tried, you weren't successful yet, but you're getting there. Fear of being forgotten is definitely what I'm afraid of because the fear of being forgotten comes from you realizing that maybe you didn't do anything to be remembered for. And that's something that's important to me. It's like, I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave something positive behind. I want to leave an imprint in this world that lets the next person take whatever they've learned from me and they can run with it. Same way I took a lot from Michael Jackson and he's no longer here, but the things I learned from him, I've now taken in and I'm running with them and creating my own thing. Eventually someone else will like listen to what I've made and might go like, I really like what he was all about. Like, I hope that one day I could blah, 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 blah. And then, 20 years later, they're like this massive thing because they followed my path, not followed by but they're inspired by my path. And I was inspired by Michael Jackson and he was inspired by James Brown. Exactly. And it goes back.
One day you will.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
If your soul has a sound, what would it be?
A piano. I didn't even have to think about that one. It's a piano, and I know it's a piano because those are the songs that if the second I hear a piano, I'm already singing to it in my head. Like there's something about the way piano sounds, the weight of the keys and the resonance of the frequencies that just instantly just goes into my soul and turns me into something that wants to create something. It's like I need to respond to it, which is funny because growing up, I hated the piano because my dad made me do piano lessons. And as a kid, you don't like being told what to do. Okay. So I hated it. But as I got older and I started getting into music, I realized that like something about piano was like my go-to instrument for creating. Second only to guitar. Piano, guitar, and everything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So piano and guitar.
Yeah, those two. But piano is like, you play piano, I'll sing to it.
Piano comes first.
Piano comes first, yeah.
If you had to start your life over with only one thing, your voice, your wisdom, or your heart, which would you choose?
I would choose, I'm not going to choose wisdom. And you know why? Because there's something about when you know too much, you don't try to make mistakes. You avoid mistakes. Like when you know too much, you're kind of like, oh, if I go down that road, I'm gonna fall into a hole, so I'm not gonna go down that road. I'm gonna go down this road instead. Yeah. But then you don't fall down that hole, and because you don't fall down that hole, you don't learn something that might make you better. So I would leave the wisdom. My voice, I love my voice, but it's my heart, because no matter, as long as I have my heart and the fire and the passion, I will find the wisdom in my voice.
Okay.
Like, I feel like that fire inside you is what drives you to find everything else. So that's the one thing I would make sure I have is the fire inside me to get back everything I had before and more.
Have you ever felt like giving up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. A couple years ago, I did the ultimate give up. I attempted to end myself. Because I was in such a dark place, and I just gave up on everything because I thought there was no point to any of it. And luckily, I survived that, and I'm still here today. And since then, I've learned that there's so much in my life, there's so much I've done since then. Like, had it ended then, it'd be a tragedy. And maybe in some other universe, maybe I didn't make it through. And in those versions of myself, didn't get to see this version of me as I am today. So I did give up, and the universe decided that it wasn't my time and made sure that I was still here. So it's important for me, and I think for everyone, that when you reach that, if you reach a place in your mind where you feel like you're alone, you're at your wit's end, you should reach out and talk to someone. And I think we don't talk enough about mental health. But like, there's always more to life. There's always more to life, and you might not see it right now, but there is. So if you need guidance, don't be afraid to ask for it.
Nowadays, the technology, especially in music,
yeah.
AI, is growing very quick and very fast. In your opinion, is it good for the music or not? What's going on now?
See, because it's like if you go back in time and you know, like before drummers, you needed an actual drummer to play drums in your song. Now you can program those drums. Has that taken away from real drummers? Yes and no, in the sense that not every artist needs a real drummer, but that doesn't mean a real drummer isn't needed. I feel where we're going with AI in today's world is more about how I feel corporations are abusing it, is that they're trying now to just replace. And that's my fear, is like how, because it's all about how we use technology. I can see how AI can help us make our lives better, but I can also see how we can use it to eliminate the things that make us who we are. And for me, art is so important to who we are, that if we were to replace a creator with a machine that just puts out like an image, then you've lost the essence, you know? And so for me, it's about how you work with it. Like if you have a process, like a creative process, and using an AI tool to help make that part a little faster, that's you enhancing your process. If you instead use AI to replace everything that you're doing, that's you eliminating what makes life important. So I just feel like with technology, I think when you put money as a motivation behind it, and it's about costs of savings, I think sometimes people prioritize money over humans, and I think that could lead to the downfall of what makes mankind special.
For sure. Steven, let's play a virtual game. Let's go?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Imagine you are on stage at a concert. The lights go down. You walk up to a piano that's locked. The audience is completely silent, and suddenly the piano unlocks and begins to play on its own. Mm-hmm. What song is it playing?
Oh man, what song is it playing? You know what song is playing? It's playing You Took Care of Me, the song I talked about before. It's playing that song. I have been wanting to do that song on stage with like, I can see it. I can see like one of those venues where like the stage is in the bottom and the audience kind of is like all around, like in like a spherical like platform that goes up, and everyone's just looking and there's a spotlight and I'm just playing that song with nothing else but my voice and the piano. I don't know why. I've seen this in my head so many times. It's You Took Care of Me, and people are just silent listening and being impacted by the words.
Wow. What emotion rushes through you in that moment?
It's like a feeling of like everything coming full circle.
Okay.
You know, and it's my way of honoring my siblings. Another way, it's my way of now I'm doing what Michael Jackson did, and I'm making people feel something so deep inside them. So it's like I've now embodied the very essence that drove me down my journey. So I'm feeling like a sense of I want to say bliss and just like pride. Like I'm proud of myself.
Why is that important for you?
To be proud of myself, or it's important because, well, first of all, I'm Nigerian, and I think a lot of cultures, like non-Western cultures, have the same. We've grown up the same thing where our parents want us to be doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Exactly.
I did the engineer thing, you know. So, but like the arts, that art world was something you had to fight for, because everyone was telling you like it's not viable. It's not the thing for you to do. And so you did everything that you were supposed to do, but you also fought to preserve that part of you that maybe not everyone else believed in. And you get to the point where you realize like you don't need anyone to believe in you. You need yourself to believe in you. And so that moment where you get to the place where you've achieved the very thing that set you out on your journey, that moment where you say, I did it, is so important. Not because you're trying to prove anyone wrong or prove anyone right. You're just happy for yourself because you started a journey and you saw it through. And this is the moment that proves to you that you are who you said you'd be.
Wow. Okay, let's go. Okay, what you're gonna do next? Do you sing, walk away, cry, or just listen?
I will always just listen first.
Okay.
I think it's important to listen, but listen to yourself. You know, like listen to what you think is your next step.
Okay.
Because sometimes when you just like do the thing that you've always been doing, you're not really growing. So that's why, as I said before, the uncomfortable silence is that moment. Like for me, the uncomfortable silence usually happens after I've done the thing that I was supposed to do. Then you're kind of like, oh, wait, what now? You know, because I don't know what it is like as an artist or as anyone in general. When you're working so hard towards something, it becomes a big part of who you are for a long time. And then you finally do the thing, it's successful, you're happy. But the second you're done, you realize, oh, what am I now working towards? Exactly. If I'm no longer working towards this, who am I? Yeah. And that's a very uncomfortable place. But there's something in that silence where your body and your mind, first of all, need a break. But you also uncover what you want to do next. And sometimes it's to keep on the same path. Sometimes it's to take a break from that path and find something else that you want to do temporarily. But listen to yourself. I'll always listen to myself first.
What do you think this moment symbolizes about your life right now?
This moment, well, first of all, it's proof to me that the journey I've ran so far has been one that's been impactful, has led me to a place where others deem my journey worth being talked about, and that I have something that I can now pass on to the next generation or the next person. So it's a surreal moment. Like every time I do like interviews like this, I always feel there's a part of me that has like imposter syndrome, where you're like, oh, what do I have to really offer? But like then you think, you're like, no, I do have a lot to offer, and it's because I've ran the steps, I've walked the walk, I've done the work. So that's what this moment represents to me. And also, when you get to meet people along your journey that are a reflection of the work you've done, and you get to also meet them along their journey, it means that you're on the right path because you're meeting people on their own path. So I think that it's just further proof that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Stephen, tell us more about your next release, your next projects.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just released this is an album called Alone in the Crowd 2. and it's a sequel to my first album that came out 10 years ago. So it's like a celebration of 10 years of work and passion. And it was such an important project for me to release because it was, one, further proof that like I've lasted this long and that I have a career that is now worth celebrating its 10-year like anniversary. So what comes next is, like your question before, this is where I listen. This is where I'm in the uncomfortable silence and I go, what do I do next? And I allow myself to figure out what that is. It'll always be music. There's always music a part of me, but like I can feel myself wanting to express myself in different ways as well. Whether it's in different forms of art, maybe it's exploring something else, I don't know. But the point is that right now I'm just proud of myself to have come this far.
Steven, thank you so much. I wish you all the best in the future.
I appreciate that, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.